This is, as you probably know, it's called First Parish. This is one of the oldest buildings in Brewster. In fact, some people kind of think of this as where Brewster started. Before Brewster, it was part of Harwich, and this was the first parish that spun off to become First. You didn't know you were going to get a history lesson tonight, did you? So tonight, we're here to celebrate a whole range of things. And as you know, we have 7 performing ensembles at school. We have percussion ensemble. Who's here from percussion ensemble? All right. This is in no apparent order. We have treble chorus. Who's here from treble chorus? We have concert band. Where's our concert band? Concert band is traditionally our largest ensemble on campus. Concert chorus. Who's here from? We're still coming in jazz band. Definitely have a jazz band in the room. Orchestra. Honors chorus. But in addition to those groups that meet before or during the school day, we have groups that meet sometimes before school, sometimes out of school. Nacapella, how many students are here? And I'm probably going to miss a few, but you know, it ranges. We have, please don't applaud, but we have a flute ensemble, we have a string quartet, we have a jazz trio quartet, several groups that are sort of, and these are really signs of a really healthy music department. When we have students that collaborate, students that are in multiple groups, I mean, these are things we're very much proud of. So tonight, we're going to celebrate and talk about like some of our performances. We've had civic performances this year, ranging from as recent as last night, swing night for the jazz band. Ranging on down to the less formal, like the honors chorus performing at Wendy's and And as I say, and probably Mr. Anthony says too, there's no such thing as an unimportant performance. So even at Wendy's, at elementary schools, at senior centers, at libraries, at elementary schools, these are all super important performances, and you never know who is going to be in the audience, you know, young or old. Some of these students are looking at you, especially the younger students, and thinking, I would like to be that. When I get to high school, I want to be in that ensemble of those things. So this is all leading to greater visibility of the music department, which, again, we're really proud of. So tonight, as you see, we have a few trophies for students that have been involved in ensembles outside of school, above and beyond our curriculum, that we're going to celebrate. We have a number of students that are taking private lessons. Would you raise your hand if you're taking private lessons or have recently taken private lessons? So in many cases, these students are taking an hour or half-hour lesson a week, preparing for those lessons, practicing for those lessons, paying for those lessons, to their betterment and also to the betterment of the music department. So we're really proud of those students as well. And as you know, we have several students that are graduating tonight, 25, I believe we counted right. And some of those students are going to be going on into music, and they're going to go on to music education and music performance, music therapy, and music theater, and we're especially proud of those students as well. As you know, we have a new principal, and I've had, Mr. Anthony and I have had many meetings with Dr. Elsesser, and he is not only a supporter of music and the arts. He is a champion of that. His two sons are both musicians. He's looking forward to the day when his kids come up to the high school, are involved in the music department. He's very much connected into what we're doing. Mr. Kenyon, Mr. Fleming are both fans of the music department. I think most of you remember Mr. Kenyon's speech at Pop's morning. Very inspirational, and they're big fans. Superintendent, as you know, was our principal for a long while. Mr. Conrad also understands the importance of music in our curriculum and in our schools, so we're in a good place. So this is the night where we kind of look back and we look forward kind of at the same time, kind of like graduation, which is why they call it commencement. So as we look back, we think about some of the things that these students have done, and we look forward, we think about things that maybe will come. Perhaps a new performing arts center at Nauset High School, something I've been working on a very long time, for 20 years since I've been here, and it's in the foreseeable future. It's not, of course, a done deal yet, but perhaps in 4 years, the students that are in your seats presently might be performing in a new performing arts center. So just an asterisk or caveat, if we missed somebody tonight, it of course was not intentional. We do our best to keep our best record keeping, but in a couple of cases, we might have missed a student or misspelled a name. If that's the case, please let us know and we'll rectify it as quickly as we can. All right, so we're going to begin tonight with the All Cape and Islands Music Festival. The All Cape and Islands is an audition that happens in November, and we had a number of students, 40-something, I think, students audition. And so I'm going to go first because it's first in the program. So I'll leave the students that were selected for the SSA, soprano alto group, or the SATB, soprano alto tenor bass groups. And these students represented Nauset High School in the choral part of the All Cape and Islands. If they come forward, please, and we'll give them a certificate. Laura Barabee, Anna Morelli, Samantha Canestraro, Jenna Carrero, Gordon Clark, Maxwell, you finished the name, Ethan Enstrom, Annika Kalnick, Acacia Nelson, Katie Sanborn, Maya Smith, Joy Trudell, Reese Benderschmidt, Aiden Barnum, and Emma Wright. Those are the choral students. They're going to stay up here while we call up these.
If you would also come and join us on stage. Lucy Blood, Taylor Branch, Elizabeth Chase, Christian Chung, Anna Kroll, Katie Kroll, Willa Kroll, Grace Cushing, Grace Plump, Bennett Hartley, Catherine Hilliard, Lydia Holland, Will Mulholland, Maeve Noon Price, Henry Peters, Emma Peterson, Emma Pike Stein, Lucy Pollock, Gavin Rice, Cyrus Serrano, Rachel Van Rysel, Warren Healy, and Jay Williams. Up here and instrumentalists, I will give you your certificates in just a moment. All these students represented us. We had the second most students of any of the schools on Cape Cod. Beat only by Falmouth, but they're far away. Falmouth, it's okay. Because we had after us, it was a long, quite a long drop off. I think we had 40 total, and I think next had maybe like 20. So really nice job by all of us. And those of you in the seats, in future years, we hope to have even more people up here, especially next year for our 60th overall. So thank you to all of these fine folks for representing us. This year they just had the jazz band, and we had 5 of our students make that ensemble. So if those students would come forward as I call your names: Sam Carpenter,
students. So if you do the math, Nauset was about a quarter of that big man.
And a special shout out this year goes to Mr. Ferris for doing my job as I was out that week with other business, because the baby happened during the All Cape Jazz Fest. So thank you to Mr. Ferris for getting it. It wasn't his first rodeo. Thank you. Similar to All Cape, the next level out from that is the Southeast District, which covers schools that goes all the way out to just south of Boston and Worcester, all the way up to the edge of Rhode Island. So the large schools like King Philip and Foxborough and Duxbury, all the way out, including all of the Cape Cod schools. And so it's held annually, covers the entire southeast corner of Massachusetts. The Junior District Festival covers students grades 7, 8, and 9. So freshmen have the opportunity to audition for that ensemble. Students are chosen through the audition, come together for the 2-day festival, which is typically off Cape, although Nauset did host it a couple of years ago at the middle school. Students that represented this at the this academic year of 2018-2019, I have your kids first. So I will announce their names, if you're okay with that. We have a trophy for you. So we have Abby Bishop. And David Harris. I have On the instrumental side, we had 3 students joining us at Junior District this year: Grace Funk, Catherine Villier, and Will Mulholland.
If you wouldn't mind putting away your phones unless you're taking pictures, that would be appreciated. So like Junior District, Senior District is the same area of the southeast corner of Massachusetts. And it involves, I'm not even sure how many schools, 61 or something like that?
It's over 60 schools.
More than 60 schools, and those students participate. It's a one-day festival. It's a 2-day festival. It's a one-day audition that happens in November. And we had 11 students representing us this year. We stayed overnight this year because it was so far away. It was in Canton, if I remember. Yeah. So, senior districts, it's a pretty challenging thing to be selected for this ensemble, so we're especially proud of these students. So I'll begin with the choral students, and if you'd hold your applause until we've read all their names, it would be appreciated. Laura Barabee is first, Gordon Clark, Max Dexter, Madison Mayer, Jay Williams, and Emma Wright.
Katie Kroll, Grace Cushing, Lucy Pollock, Gavin Rice, and Lauren Beeling. One more round of applause for our senior district representative. Students are eligible, based on their score at the senior district level, to audition at the all-state level. The requirement being in the top percent of each section. Depending on the instruments, the percentages are different in different ensembles, but overall it's usually the top 20 to 25% of students who made districts then get the opportunity to go and audition at All-State. And that applies through all 5 of the districts throughout the state. So the top students from senior districts compete against the top students from Central and Northeastern and Western and all of the other districts. So the All-State audition is another piece that they learn, which is the next level up. It's harder scales, it's harder sight reading, it's harder everything. We travel again off Cape even further. This year it was in Shrewsbury, which is a several-hour drive. If you ever are auditioning for any of these things, we do always have the best snacks. And that's because Katie usually brings like 2 coolers full to every single one of these things. So if you're interested in auditioning for things, just for food, it is possible. So the all-state level, getting the recommendation in and of itself is challenging enough because you have to be in the top percentage at the district level. And that's even before potentially getting into all-state. So we had 6 of our 11 students this year, more than half, who were eligible for all-state auditions. So if we could have them stand in their place, we had Katie Kroll, Grace Cushing, Maggie Mayer, Lucy Pollock, Gavin Rice, and Jay Williams.
So we thought about how important that was for these students to do yet a second audition for those things. As Mr. Anthony said, different scales, different demands on them to learn yet another piece at a very difficult time of the year. It's the first weekend in January, that's the Senior District Festival. 2 weeks after the Senior District Festival was the All-State audition. Right, and as Mr. Anthony said, they're competing against students from all over, so the entire state. So it's a huge achievement just to be selected for the auditions. But we did have one student this year that represented us at the state level. And this young lady spent 3 days in Boston, I think it was 3 days, rehearsing from 9 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock at night, and had the opportunity to perform in Symphony Hall. So it's a great honor to even be in Symphony Hall. If you haven't been, you need to go. It's an amazing place acoustically. Some of the most luminary musicians in the world that perform there, and we can now include among them Maggie Mayer.
The first of which are our Most Improved Musician Awards. So these awards are with input from students. Mr. Ferris and I collect, as part of the superlatives, we collect your input on who you believe is considered most improved in your ensemble. And it is something that, let me just pull up the list that I have here. There we go. It's something that is an interesting goal to achieve, because at times you may not feel that you're somebody at the top of your section, but you know that you're putting in really hard work and that you're seeing improvement. And that's the spirit of this award, that it's not necessarily the top chair player, that it's somebody who is leading by example in their section, who's putting forth the effort, and it shows. And it reflects, because a number of students were voted multiple times by their peers. So a lot of these, at least I know in my ensembles, were particularly close. So there are many of you who are deserving and many of you who work hard, but the couple of students I have here tonight are the ones who are deemed by your peers to have risen above tremendously this year. So in concert band, the individual voted most improved this year is Emily Villarosa. You haven't hyperventilated yet. It's a good thing. Not yet. All right, joining Emily on stage, voted most improved in the orchestra, Daisy Ann Montague. The jazz band was the most divided. However, eking ahead by one vote, the jazz band's most improved musician for the 2018-2019 season is Dabney Peters. That information will remain undisclosed. It has already been redacted from the Google Forms. Not currently on here, but deserving of one, because there was a load of improvement this year in many of the members of our percussion ensemble. The percussion ensemble voted on their own most improved member, and the most improved member for percussion ensemble this year is Owen Embry.
On the choral side of campus, in concert chorus, the most improved was Carla Street. In treble chorus, it's Ellie Jansen. And in honors chorus, Aiden Barnes. Our most improved. So this one comes with some criteria. So it's not a Nauset-based one, but it is an area-based one. This award is presented annually to an 11th grade vocal music student who has made a significant contribution to the choral music program at Nauset High School. The student also displays talent, drive, initiative in music and in the choral arts, as well as a person who has expressed interest in continuing in vocal music at the collegiate level. This year's recipient is Akansi Nauset.
The next couple of awards we're going to recognize some students. They have already received these awards at the particular event, but we can't talk about Mage without also talking about what happened this year. which is a story, but I'll preempt this with what it is. So, Mage, as it is called, is the Massachusetts Association of Jazz Educators, MAJE. And this is an organization that has been around for a very long time as part of the district kind of organization, but it is individual schools bringing their jazz ensembles to compete. So there's a vocal side of it for schools with a competing vocal jazz group, there's combos, and then there's jazz bands as well. So our jazz band has competed for many years in the coastal region, which previously was on Cape Cod, now it's usually just off Cape. Up in Marshfield. So we travel, we load up the bus, we go up there for the Division Festival, or the District Festival. The District Festival, which is a coastal district. And so this year, our jazz band scored the highest possible score that they can get in the silver category. If they had one more point, it would have been gold. That's right where we have always been as a school, is right in that incredibly high silver and very low gold. So I'm incredibly proud of the work that they did this year. Huge improvement over the year on the Mage set as we went through. And with that, they were invited to the state festival. So we then went on to compete at states, which was a week and a half later, which meant getting a bus and finding out that we had a conflict with Model UN in Boston. So we had two of our students who were on that trip and had been planning that trip with Miss Burnett for a long time. So that was Sam and Dabney who were doing that. And so we had it all coordinated. Mrs. Carpenter was going to be chaperoning the Model UN event, and Miss Carpenter was going to get them on the train and send them out to where we were and join them, and then they were going to go back. And that was a great plan. Until Dabney texted me to say, I don't know where Sam and Mrs. Carpenter are. At approximately 2 minutes before they were supposed to catch the train, which means Dabney was still in the hotel, having no idea where anyone was. Turns out, after getting cell service back, along with the other 18 people who were stuck in an elevator for 2.5 hours, Sam and Mrs. Carpenter came out of the elevator after the fire department had to get them out, I believe by climbing out to the top of the elevator and going up to the next floor. Meanwhile, and this was probably the most voted on superlative by the jazz band, which I don't have an award for you, but I will recognize you today, which is the Purple Heart Medal. Which I'm saying, for injuries sustained in battle. You don't even know the best part, or perhaps the worst part, because while he was stuck in the elevator for 2.5 hours, he was still recovering from the food poisoning he had from the night before. So, suffice to say, Dabney found the rest of the jazz band. And they caught an Uber, and as the band was lining up backstage to go on stage, Sam and Dabney pulled up at the front of the school, ran down the hallway, and ran right on stage with the rest of us. And so the jazz band was able to compete. We had a couple other people who weren't able to make it due to other sickness as well, but we had a fantastic showing. The judges were incredibly supportive, and were very supportive of everything that we did. They were very helpful too, saying if you need 10 minutes for them to show up, feel free to take those 10 minutes. So it was awesome to compete in the Paul Alberta Memorial Hall. And it ended with a show by a fantastic big band that played some really awesome music, along with all of the other schools that were there that day. So, in and among all of these contests, we had 3 individuals who were recognized by the Mage Association as outstanding musicians, both at the division and at the state level. So they already have certificates, but I'd like to have them stand and be recognized. Those 3 students were Lucy Pollock, this trophy, I'll read it to you, says Nauset High School Music Department Award. It's a little redundant, but that's okay. This award is given to a single student each year. The qualifications for it are vague in the sense that it is designed for a student who really gives everything to the department in many different ways and to different ensembles, in different contexts. And so this particular student is in several of our ensembles. This particular student has for many years been developing their style and their confidence and their involvement in the department and outside of our department on a musical level as well, both in the community and in the school, has continued to grow. With several different directorial positions this year, both with the musical and with our a cappella group, as well as numerous solos throughout the jazz ensemble and in choral ensembles in the last few years. This year, with all of the respect and honors that are bestowed upon this person with this one-of-a-kind trophy, for a one-of-a-kind award for a one-of-a-kind person each year. This year's Music Department Award goes to Jay Williams.
Our seniors. And as you know, Mr. Anthony has been with us 2 years. Mr. Anthony's had a very changeable year. Can we say that? I would say so. Got married last year and had, of course, everybody knows he has a newborn now. So in spite of his family commitments, he's also done an amazing job with us. So let's hear from Mr. Anthony. This is my 18th, 19th year at this track at Nauset, and my 30-something year teaching at Nauset. Thank you. My kids keep track better than me. But this is my 4th year as the choral director at Nauset High School. I took over from my dear friend and colleague Allison Bevan. So this group that I'm graduating tonight is my first group of choral students that I've had all 4 years. This group of seniors in general, we've done a lot together, not just the choral students, but with another director, whose name we won't speak about tonight. We went to Ireland, 103 students and 10 adults traveled to Ireland for 6 days. It was one of the most amazing trips I've ever had as an educator. I've never been so proud of my students. We got to do some really amazing cultural things, meet people from all kinds of places in Ireland. We got to meet student groups and perform with student groups. We had an unfortunate circumstance where one young lady was hurt. We went to a sheet printing demonstration, and unfortunately she was injured by the dog, but more importantly, the gentleman who was the farmer became one of our fans, and he traveled with us to Dublin to watch us perform at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and he joined us for the rest of the performances. It was an amazing trip, it really was. 103 students from both instrumental and choral music got together and spent 3 buses full of students. It was an amazing trip. Sophomore year, our 2 ensembles, or 2 kind of sides of the department, went in 2 different directions. The choruses went to Montreal, and the instrumental groups went to New York City. And they were both important in their own way. It was the first time we'd ever done a trip in 2 separate ways. I can't really speak about the New York trip because I wasn't on it, but I can speak about the Montreal one, and I was extremely proud of my students. It was a relatively small number of students, but they took every single division in which we competed, and we also got the Esprit de Corps award. The senior class's junior year, we went to Atlanta and performed admirably again. First time we had not won the Esprit de Corps award, but we came in second, so close. And I don't know if I've shared this with any of you or all of you, but I actually received a phone call by the administrator, whose name happened to be Michael Jackson. To congratulate me on our students and how well behaved they were. The airport, hard to believe, I know. The airport in Atlanta is a challenge in itself. People going in all kinds of directions. And I can't tell you how many times people come up to me and say, how do you do this? How do you bring so many kids to so many places? And one of my students just the other day, now, asked me, we just happened to be talking about the conversation of, if you weren't a music teacher, what kind of teacher, what other teacher would you be? And my answer finally, after having thought about it, was I don't think I would be. The joys of being a music teacher is that it's not us against you, it's us with you. We work together. It's a symbiotic relationship, and that's really important to me. And I think it's really important to a lot of you too. So you learn a lot through music because of these people that are in the room with you. And we have gone on some amazing journeys together. So with that said, we're going to recognize our seniors. So I'm going to begin with the vocal music students, and Mr. Anthony will announce the instrumental students immediately following. So again, if you would please just wait until they're all up here so we can congratulate them together. So I have 6, and not all of whom are here tonight, but I would like them to come up individually. Laura Barabee is the first. Samantha Canestraro. Josh Devlin is here. Madison Nair. Maya Smith. And Joy Trudell.
Because, so I don't miss anybody, I have everyone in alphabetical order, and they're not by ensemble. So if you would all come up when I call your name. Logan Bentz. Taylor Branch. Joe Clifford. Anna Kroll. Grace Cushing. Bobby Freeman. Ailey Gallion. Taylor Gardner. Megan Guerin.
Yeah, Megan.
Jordan Hudson. May Newby Price. Hema Patel. Emma Peterson. Caitlin Tish. Lucy Pollock. Nick Barnstrom. Jeannie Street, Lauren Feely, and Vanessa